But to be honest, I mean, as soon as you embrace that, it makes it so much more. It's more enjoyable. I mean, not just easier to win points, but just more enjoyable because you realize that it's really the way. It's paddle's about not missing. Paddle's about, hey, here, screw this up for me, for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be.
Look at that. Sit down.
You don't want to be the last player generally touching the ball, but at the same token, like this is something that's kind of trickled down from the top of the game. You've seen the very top of the game get incredibly aggressive over the last few years.
Yes.
And players trying to shake their opponents with a barrage of offensive tools. Where in the past, I think, players were much more conservative with or methodical sometimes with their attacks. And now the unpredictability at the top level and these really quick, explosive plays have kind of trickled down through to, and you'll see it in here in this match tonight. You'll see Mills blitzing a little bit.
Sure.
You'll see Sanjeev hitting a couple more aggressive angles, stuff.
Sure.
The shots that lend themselves to be much more risk, like I said, tolerant. And
absolutely. It's funny. I know and Cal's going to be very surprised by this, but there is somebody who's older than I am that's around
locked,
the
right?
area. Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah, so
Don't.
Here.
Go ahead.
And Matt tried to make things simpler for us. We tried to, as an invitation, to make things incredibly difficult. So the stream was not up. So just go ahead and give a quick recap, and then if you want to reintroduce the players in the drinking game.
Oh, okay.
That's my
Well, serving from this side, unless you want to take the lead on that one, Will, you did such a great job last time in introducing the players.
Oh, we didn't get the introductions.
Nope.
Got it.
So that's okay.
Yeah, let's we'll run it back real quick so we can give these guys their fair due diligence here.
Yeah. Once again, by the way, we are the CPTC live stream. I'm Sean Albrecht. That is Will Comar and Cal Nobles on the mic as well with us here at Valley Low Club, and we are in the middle of a match between South Barrington and the Valley Low Eagles. I'm saying I don't even know if that's their mascot. I'm just making that up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, take it away. Sorry there, Will. Go ahead.
So coming from the Palace de Marino, we have on the close end here in the red sleeves, Steve Izzo. The guy serving all black is Matt Iannucci. They are currently Valley Low is sitting in. Did I get that wrong? No, I didn't. Fourth place.
Yeah.
And these guys both have 3-6 records on the season, coming in at roughly 24 to 26
Great
on the
hands.
PTI. And then on the far side, we've got Roger Mills in the American flag cap and Sanjeev Pillay in the gray. Sanjeev and Roger, both, as I mentioned, very talented tennis players who are getting better at the game quickly, sometimes a little too creative and regimented in their tennis routines for their own good.
Good timing there. That's a good cue right there.
But very talented players who are probably going to give these guys everything they can handle. Although on paper this is a really, really tough matchup, and I honestly don't have favorites here tonight. I think the cold weather is going to kind of play into Izzo and Iannucci's style a little bit more.
I was going to ask what the Las Vegas line was.
Yeah.
I think, are we at 3-2 or 4-1? I just wanted to make sure. I'm not really sure whether it's 3-2 or 4. It's got to be 3-2.
I think it's 3-2.
Yeah, that would be 3-2 because I remember them being on the board early in the match before the telecast was actually on the air. So 3-2 South Barrington, first set.
A little bit of a short lob sequence here. Tonight you're going to have to really hoist those up. The zenith has to be much higher on the lob. It's a tricky little shot there.
I'm liking this Kansas music in the background. Of course, on the other hand, we probably should be turning that down. It's kind of a nice theme.
That was just deep.
I think this is almost. Oh wait, this is carrying out my favorites up for the second time. All right, they played it twice in the last 30 minutes.
Miss lob for anybody.
So somebody's got
I'm
to.
sorry, I couldn't even hear. Is Hal on the?
Yeah. You know
Cal.
what? Here's
Cal.
a funny thing. I don't know if the viewing audience understands the drinking rules here, so to speak. I mean, if we're allowed to talk about those, we may have to review those as well. Will.
Yeah, fairly straightforward. So, a couple different errors that we can collect drinks on, and for anybody who's got a high noon on hand or an IPA, missed lob is 1 drink, fault is 1 drink, peg is 2 drinks, audible obscenity is also 2 drinks, and a paddle throw or ejecting the ball out of the court in anger is finish your drink. And I am currently 1 drink in. A lot of deep lobs. I get going for a little bit more depth on the lob today. You know, you kind of need it, but
Yeah.
come on, guys, help me out here.
Now, Will, I have to ask, did you lose your taste recently? Because I see you're drinking black cherry.
Actually, funny enough, I did. I got the vid, but you know what? It wasn't horrible for me. I had, a couple days of sore throat and little discomfort sleeping one night, but did lose my taste. Got it back. I like the black cherry, Hal. I don't know if you're old enough to drink yet, but I did it again. This is Cal Noble, everybody.
I'm enjoying you calling him Hal. I'm sorry.
Short for California Noble.
Exactly.
California Pizza Kitchen.
Yeah, CPK. That's what we're calling you from now on, even though your last name doesn't begin with K or P for that matter. It's not going to make a difference. All right, if I'm not mistaken, we are at 3-all. So it's as if the match has just started. So those of you who didn't maybe even get a chance to watch the first bunch of games, it's as if we're at 0-0. I mean, let's face it, if you want to look at it that way, it's like a 3-game set, basically, or I should say first 1 to 3. So let's just see what happens. Once again, it's about a balmy 11 degrees. I want to say with the wind chill, it's about 9 or so.
Yeah, wind's kind of died down a little bit, but it is
Thank
cold.
the Lord.
You can see the vapor coming out of these guys'
Oh, yeah.
orifices. It's a great word.
It's a good thing we don't have a drinking rule for untoward words. So
That's not an untoward
oh no, it is
word.
not really. No, we just can take it that way.
Yeah.
That's fine. You're right. It is a medical term, Cal. I'm going to have to pod your mic up a little bit there. Pot, I should say. And I don't mean that the wrong way, Cal. Don't get excited.
All right, so we've got our I formation here. Izzo last time having a little trouble getting the first volleys in. Looks like he also tried to amplify the serve. That's a fault, so that's another drink.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. That
So
was
3-all,
brisk.
love 15, by the way, for those of you keeping track of the score. That was a nice first volley. Little long,
No,
though.
it was, yeah. I like the idea of the I formation, although Roger, being a lefty, is kind of naturally
Can go
rotating.
inside in?
Yeah, kind
yeah.
of naturally rotating into this. So, but it does at least shorten the court for him. I like that move.
Great
That's
move.
Good. Gonna have to come up with the goods against tough returners, and that was actually a really nice little move there. At least get in his cabbage a little bit.
That was. Seems like that was real comfortable for Mr. Iannucci to be doing that right there.
Yeah. I mean, volleys are going to be a lot more manageable today, so making those moves not quite as risky, even against tough drivers like Roger.
Yeah.
All right. Short lobs once again. That's better. And we got a good setup there. And
you know what? He set it up well, though.
just a little disinterested at the end of that.
You don't get a sip for that missed drive, do you?
Nope.
Okay, just making sure.
Don't need it. Don't want it. I got to slow down here. All right, I formation again. Let's see if Iannucci makes a move. He did a little fake there. That's a good move. Sanjeev with the tough drive.
They seem to be heating up. That is the Valelo team of Iannucci and Izzo at the net. Their hands starting to find their range here.
Smart resets here.
Look at that.
Nice thing about the net in these conditions, you can have slightly firmer resets and not pay the price off of the back screen. So
Exactly.
although you do not want to target that far deep, I would say that's probably a good reset on a warmer day, going for a little depth and taking
Sure.
some pace off, but make those resets a little bit shallower and just punchier, and that'll generally protect you in these conditions.
So we're at Series 5 here. And just asking this as a simple information question. We don't see a lot of rollers at this level, or do you? Or does it really matter?
You know, you're starting to see more. We
Yeah.
have a Series 5 team at our club I'm from North Shore Country Club, so we have a bunch of players there that are using that shot, kind of building into that, and like I said, it's kind of that trickle-down effect from the top level where you're seeing a lot more aggressive tools being developed from the net in Series 3, 4, 5. I think it's great for the game. You're seeing, like I said, a quicker pace of play from the net.
Sure.
And the baseline, So Sanjeev, here we go. Good serve there. That's a really nice.
It's a great shot.
Yeah, letting the ball drop just a little below the shoulder and punching a day like today. That thing is going to stay really awfully low in and out of the screen, and a lot of players are going to be tempted to block that, which is very tough to do.
Definitely. Tell a lot of our league players you're going to hit the ball hard, generally to a corner, and if not that, then at somebody.
All right. Good resets there. Oh, he had the inside out. That wrist went at about a 175-degree angle right there.
I think Steve had that one. I think he was on that, by the way, even if it went over, which was amazing. Good hands.
Yep.
It's a good knock. Nice.
Good scrape off the screen there. Good little poke. Getting into a little cat and mouse.
Awesome. But this guy anticipates screens really, really well. Somebody's been coaching him, Coach Marino, well anyway in practice. And Coach Scott, I don't know Scott's last name, but seems like a real good dude. Seems like a good player too.
Yeah, Scott Hill.
Scott Hill.
Great flowing mane.
I noticed that.
That is
as you get older, you notice these things.
Lob, so take a drink. I would like to see it. Roger has been hitting that kind of nice low prod overhead, and I want to see a little bit more of that as we keep going here. I mean, one of the things that you've seen the top players doing in the last few years. I mean, roller's a great example. What's it do? Well, it gets into the screens and it stays low.
Yes.
Today, obviously, naturally the bounce is lower, so that's a good thing. But if you can keep that point of contact just a little bit lower on the overheads and punch through the court, it makes it really difficult to hit good quality lobs. And once in a while, if it gets through, it can be a really difficult screen.
As they always say, starting low stays low.
Yep.
Yeah, no question about it. And Roger's talented enough to even just kind of hit it almost flat a little bit if he needs to, like that last one that he did.
Yeah.
Good hands.
Yeah, very good.
This is a break point opportunity. Oh, good leave by Mills. Back to deuce. This is getting to be a war. We're liking it.
Ooh, that
edge of the line. That was nice.
Line clipper.
Yep.
So
awesome.
I gotta believe that Iannucci and Izzo, that's the shot right there.
Exactly.
That punchy low ball. Got to find a way to keep using that, because Izzo and Iannucci are not going to give you much off the screens with your kind of standard side backs or back sides. You got to really make the overheads a little sharper and lower. That is another drink.
Oh.
Yeah, he can't believe it. He does not miss that many lobs, so I think he knows what's going on, and he's just trying to get me plastered before the second.
All right, I'm going to say it. I'm not sure that was kind of I guess it was a lob. It was a lob attempt. You're right. I mean, because it really didn't end up as a lob. I call that a drob, Coach, like something between a drive and a lob. But you know what? Go ahead and take the sip anyway, because who am I to deprive you of any fun?
Yeah.
I mean, people have little enough fun around me anyway. That's a good pick.
Yeah, it was. Really good look there. And he did kind of see Matt fidgeting at the net. I didn't mind him trying to go behind him there and start gluing him to his spot on the court, because Matt's been making some. That's a drink.
Uh-oh. By the way, I want to say it's 5-all. I mean, if I had to take a guess, I want to say it's 5-5. I know it's not 4-4, but I know it's got to be tied because I could swear possibly Iannucci and Izzo were serving for
Oh, that was a missed
receiving
opportunity there.
for the match, that is.
Love how Iannucci's giving Steve some space on that one. That ball, a lot of players are tempted to stick their paddle out and get involved, but that was all
Good point, Coach. You're right.
Steve's.
That's just chemistry. I'm going to call that chemistry. And communication, I would imagine. 2 C's. Look at that. Above the lights. By the way, speaking of lights, I love the lights here. They're phenomenal. I mean, I'm a big LED fan anyway, but the entire court is really well lit. I mean, you get a face full of, fire if you look into it.
Another slightly ambitious depth target on the reset there. And
yes.
that's one you don't want to have on a day like today. Overhead errors are normally pretty bad, but when you're trying to control the net in conditions where the drive does less to you, they really hurt you.
Exactly. Matter of fact, another note for those of you tennis players at home that are, maybe took up paddle, an overhead takes on generally two different forms. A reset overhead, obviously, is just almost like a high forehand volley. Usually has a little bit of an arc to it. Try to keep the ball in the middle of the court, maybe close to the baseline, somewhere in the backcourt area, just to give you a kind of a break and give you a chance to kind of reset a little bit. That's why it's called a reset. And then, of course, an overhead in the classic sense would be something you'd hit over your head. A little harder sometimes softer, depending on the situation. All right, so what are we, 5-6 here? I just want to make sure I'm keeping track of this. I think that's what we are, right? Didn't they lose that?
I actually think Roger and Sanjeev are up 6-5.
All right.
Maybe
Look
I'm
at
wrong.
that. Did he get that? He did.
Oh, yeah.
Vintage
That's the
Pilar.
thing about that. That would be a winner on a tennis court
No question.
7 days of the week. But here, there's just not a whole lot of room. Even in this cold weather, it's hard to hit really good drop shots that kill the point. In
Absolutely.
fact,
You also got to disguise it because the court is so small.
here
like
it comes
right there.
again. He got it that time. Yep.
Good touch. Yeah, you're right. Sanjeev kind of owns that on the tennis court. He's kind of a master. So I guess it is 15 love. He got
There's
another one.
another one. Little backspin cut on that, too.
Yeah, that's impressive. He doesn't even use his left hand.
No, he really doesn't.
That's
Doesn't need to.
some serious style there.
That one caught the line.
It did. A lot of underspin there. Look at this.
All right.
It's
here
in
we
there.
go.
The flip.
That's a really good lob.
That was. A little extra English on
Kind
that
of
thing, too.
suckered Matt into the net there with the previous lob going deep to Steve, and Matt felt the need to.
All right, so I now I'm here we go. Yeah.
Can I
Sure.
possibly add a rule to the drinking game?
Jump-
Every time
jump right in
teammates
there.
Try to celebrate and are not on the same page because this is the third time they've gone for a fist bump and the other's going for a high five.
Well, team chemistry. Ooh, very tricky. Let court, another one. Here we go.
That's a smart play.
That was good get, and he redrops him. That's a torn hammy.
He's just.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
It's hard to drop shot a guy who is point blank on the
On
net.
the net.
But we're going to try it anyway because we're
It's
saying.
great
gee,
hustle, by the way.
Yeah.
Not to be partial, because I'm not going to be partial, but by Iannucci and Izzo there. That was incredible
And
defense.
that couldn't have come at a better time. I think they just staved off a set point
I think they
there.
did too. In there.
Yeah, those
That's a
are,
good shot.
Those are the types of. I actually, so when we talk about those, we call those either side heads or underheads, and they all fit into the
Same
category of overheads,
Sure.
but they are hit from different levels. And again, I just got to believe that's exactly what you want to do today. Keep that ball low, punchy in and out of the screens. And
Exactly. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. Would they start the second set this quickly? Because we generally would go to a commercial break for the Illinois Bone and Joint Institute. But it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, let's just find out. We may be in the middle of a tiebreaker here. You know what I mean? Because, I mean,
No.
Pillai and Mills just won that game.
No, that's definitely not a tiebreaker.
Okay,
you
it
gotta
can't be
believe
now. Yeah, it can't be now. But, yeah, because he'd start on the outside anyways. Look at this.
Well, no, you start deuce, you go deuce ad, but Roger served that entire game, and now we're, I think, at 15 all here. So
yes,
might have been 4 all before instead of 5 all. That is a drink, ladies and gentlemen.
we haven't had one of those in a while. It's as if he wants to make sure that he doesn't shirk his responsibility to make sure people are having a good time, which is nice of Steve.
That
you know
is
what?
Another drink, and that we're gonna have to try to flag these guys down and get a score here, because I think that might have been the first game of the second set. I think
if they're going into another set, yeah. Usually you get a break, but I suppose if you take a break, you're gonna warm up and then get perspiration, then go back out there and freeze again. I'd understand why they just want to start a new set, but it wouldn't surprise me if we're still in the set.
That's the one. That's the one, Mills.
Better.
Good idea. Just got to pick. Like I said, it is not very important that you have depth on that shot. You actually want to keep it just past the service line. Give yourself a little margin for error, and also, if that ball gets into the screen, the deeper it is at that pace, the more it kicks up off the screen, so it actually does buy the backcourt a little bit more time.
Sure.
So you want to keep that just past
as low
the
as
service
you can.
line.
Sure.
That's
wow.
a good nick there.
That was the first true nick shot we've seen.
All right, so I'm not sure if you guys heard this is the second set.
Yeah. Okay,
right.
so this, I believe, is 1-0 Sanjeev and Roger in the second.
Unfortunately, I think that means we will have to go to commercial break.
We do. What commercials?
Illinois
do we have?
Bone and Joint, sir.
Oh, good.
From the heart of Chicago up to the North Shore and stretching from the northwest suburbs down to Kankakee. From urgent in-office care to virtual in-home visits, we're making orthopedic care available wherever and however you need it. Because while we're adapting our lives to keep each other safe, we know that new injuries will happen and old injuries will still linger. And IBJI is here to help.
Illinois Bone and Joint Institute is the best choice for orthopedic care. Our walk-in ortho access clinics provide treatment by orthopedic specialists without a trip to the ER. With evening and weekend hours, we provide your family with excellent care when it matters most. Visit ibji.com to find an ortho access immediate care.
We're back. CPTC live stream. Sean Albrecht, Will Comar, Cal Noble, and at Valley Low Club, watching exactly historic, bucolic. Let's just find out. Let's just list the adjectives. And I think we're calling the Valley Low guys the Eagles. I don't know if the South Barrington, I don't know if they call them the Broncos. That's right, we're calling them the Broncos. So it's Eagles and Broncos. I guess it's like an AFC, NFC matchup. But anyway, on the other side, you're watching Sanjeev Pillai and Roger Mills. Sanjeev just hit that overhead. And Roger Mills, his partner in the patriotic cap, as Coach Will was mentioning, versus Steve Izzo in the red. And is it Matt Iannucci?
Matt Iannucci
in the black. The South Barrington Broncos, yes, of course. I mean, they're going to hate me for saying that. But you know what? That's technically the high school mascot, so it kind of works out. Won the first set.
Yeah, Roger looks like he could be about a junior in high school.
You know what? He is young for his age. I think he might be my age.
Did you just say he's young for his age?
Yes, I did say that. It's an old Adam Sandler line. But you know what? It's a really old Adam Sandler line. It's during the days when you were watching him act. Before all of the,
there
look
it
at this.
Is.
He's
look at
there.
The cat and mouse. Ooh,
no way.
With
no
the
way.
Hands. Great length
what
on that.
What a point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those are the battles that you kind of don't want to get into with Sanjeev and Roger.
No. That's a good point, Coach Will. Wow, it's a nice return.
Yep.
Dipping from Steve Izzo.
There's been a little bit of a
Patented.
pattern of casual volleys, and I kind of get it. One of the things that happens in this weather, though, and you can feel it, is once it gets to a certain level of cold, the miss hits really are outstanding. So you can hit some volleys that, it's normally nice to kind of miss hit a little bit because it takes off the pace, but it'll
Sure.
take so much off today that you will kind of flub the volley, and so you can have that effect of over-absorbing
Sure.
some of these volleys, which we've seen quite a bit of tonight.
Like that, maybe.
Yeah,
Leave it a little short.
That was fine. No, that was a very questionable drop shot from about the service line.
Well, it was fine for somebody like me, Coach Will, but for Roger, that was a miss hit.
It's true. His purity is very
Yeah, he
very
doesn't
high.
he doesn't miss the middle of the paddle or racket for that matter very often. Yeah, I made a living, well, not a very good one, but off of mishitting the ball. Nice pick. Look at this great move.
I love that play, and I got to say, in cold weather, if guys are giving you any sort of space,
Sure.
I love making blitzes off of the serve because once a good team gets a foothold in that, it makes it really tough to get back in the point. So it's one of your best options if the space is there.
Absolutely.
This would be another great, that would,
Look at
I
that.
think, a missed opportunity to maybe make a play like that again.
Get down. It's in there. Oh,
Yeah, a little too aggressive with the depth target again.
that's another shot. Not that that's a weird segue because it kind of is, but it's another shot I'm not seeing a lot. Maybe at Series 5, but more and more I'm seeing, which is an underhand serve. And I noticed after watching you play, I want to say months ago at the I-55, I want to say, you and Adam Morgan will vary it. Were you hitting a lot of, did you hit a couple underhand serves or was it my imagination?
No, so for that tournament, because it was warmer weather, I went exclusively with a roll serve to the deuce side. And I went with a cut serve to the ad side because it was warm enough where I was getting quite a bit of jump on the
Sure.
serve. So I could get my cut serve on the ad into the side screen quick enough to challenge the returners. But on the deuce side, I exclusively went with the roll. Adam went 100% with the roll on both sides, which he typically does.
I did a great job with it. Many
Yeah.
guys won that tournament going away. But the reason why I asked is because some people will see that and they're wondering, hey, at home, should I be working on that serve? And well, what would your advice be? Is it mostly that you use that in a warm weather
My
scenario?
advice would be take a drink because that was a missed lob. And no, my advice would be, look, at the top
volley.
level of the game, you've seen a lot of players go to this. And I think the best example of this really is, of course, Johan and Steven. So Johan Durant and Steven Mitchell, who are
National champions.
Yep, I mean, I think 3 of the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And both of them went away from great cut serves to having what would look to a new player like a very average or beginner-looking roll serve, but they don't care because great hands there.
Yeah.
Because all they do is make first volleys, and that's all that needs to be done, really. I mean, they're not getting free points with their serve anyway, so their mentality is, let me get started. Let me get every point started and minimize my faults, and then figure out what to do from there.
That's a
And
great point.
that's really what it boils down to, is being able to get yourself situated at the net, because winning the point off of the serve is kind of gimmicky in this game once you get to a substantial level.
Oh, no. There's no question. As a matter of fact, somebody much wiser than me said this. It's not serving and volleying, it's serving to volley. So you're really, because you're
That
not really
is
going to
an
make a great
incredible
reach.
little poach
Maybe
there.
not even
Wow.
advised, but I guess if you got a game point, you take a chance like that. That was
Yeah,
impressive.
He read it well, apparently.
He did. But yeah, the idea is that you set up your volley with your serve. You don't necessarily win the point with the serve. And that is a difference, major difference between paddle and tennis, definitely. No question about
Yep.
it. All right, I want to say 1-2. No. I'm going to say 1-2.
Well, they haven't switched sides, so I got to
Didn't they just switch, yeah?
Oh, they did just switch, yeah.
That's all right. See, funny thing is, I'm not even drinking, and I'm not keeping it straight, so you're impressing me, if anybody else.
Wait, what quarter were you commenting?
don't think Rogers missed a serve. That's impressive.
Oh, that is a
What
great.
and you know what? Sanji pulled it off.
Incredible flick of the wrist. That is.
That's vintage Palai right there.
That is incredible.
McGruber. Unbelievable.
Okay.
Oh, that's
saw a little
very
opening.
creative.
I kind of like it.
He's there. Another flick. That's impressive.
All right. The lob quality is getting a little bit better here. That's a tough one to take. I think
Get over.
I'd like him to lay off and let Steve kind of poke around with that, control the flow, play a little bit more. That's another. He had the space to get it there. This weather, it's hard to get that curl to it. So
no question.
Didn't mind the take. Just need a little bit more
Setup.
height there. Well, yeah.
No.
Just height.
Okay.
You talk about the weather. I was recently informed of I call it a tactic called the freeze out, where you just don't hit it
was
to
wide.
one of the players when it's very cold, and so then their toes and fingers get very cold and they're uncoordinated. Is that widely used in the upper series?
It depends on the matchup, really. I mean, I would say that most of the time, players will use that for patches of the match. It really depends on the matchup. Sometimes it can be a really big part of your game plan. Other times it'll only be part. Certainly, you want to avoid really good players' gigantic offensive weapons, and one way is to just not hit it to them. So.
Exactly.
It really depends on the matchup and what tools are at your disposal. One of the great things about this sport is that there are a lot of variables to play with when you're building your composition for a match. So
that's another great point, Coach. You know, there are times where even if you have somebody who drives big, as long as you're set at the net and you feel confident enough in your volleys, you don't mind that. That's the one thing. It's kind of like, well, we got to stay away from that big drive. I don't know. Sometimes it actually works in our favor if we're ready. Nothing wrong with handling a drive if you're both building a wall.
Yeah. And sometimes you want a guy to drive and take the chance.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
You can catch a guy on a bad day or
a warm day for that matter.
Yeah, sure. Or whatever the case may be, who oversteps their bounds, and you can collect some errors off of what would otherwise be the form of point revenue for that player. That's,
exactly.
Just a little bit. Oh, was that good?
Nope. I think he missed it. He missed it.
Okay, just wide.
Nice try. But
all right, Sanjeev.
look at that.
Sanjeev has been lobbing better this set. A little bit more height on these, a little bit more intention.
He's got good hands there. Look at that.
That's going to be a little bit of a problem. Nope. And you can see ball staying low off the screen, and Roger got away with a really low level lob there.
It's a pretty good lob. He just tried to do a little
Yeah.
too much with it.
Yep.
Uncharacteristic error from Mr. Iannucci. I want to say it's 15 all.
So Steve is still trying to figure out the best way into the point here against Roger. Roger's been really challenging him with the return of serve. Looks like they're having a little bit of a discussion on how Matt's going to proceed as the net player. He has been making some moves, and that's helped out a little bit, but he's got to be careful about overstepping his bounds because Roger has started to move the return around a little bit, and
He sure
it's a
has.
slippery slope as a net player overplaying your spot. I think he held the spot that time, got the one he wanted.
Yep. You know, that's another concept. I think that in all sports, Coach, that probably is worth mentioning is there are certain shots that even if you miss it, you hit the right shot, just do it again. It's kind of common to, I played a lot of basketball, and, they'll say, even the commentators will say, well, the coach wants that guard taking that shot every single time if he gets it because it's a high percentage play. No.
That's a drink. Okay, so we did black cherry before. We're on to grapefruit here. says it's made with real juice, so it's good for you.
It's basically Fresca, for those of you old enough to remember that drink, because they're making Fresca with alcohol now. What else is going on, right?
That does taste like Fresca.
It's just me. He decided to blitz,
Yeah.
which was brave of him, but I don't know. There's a fine line there.
A little delayed as well.
Exactly.
It didn't look like it was programmed. He kind
No.
of just decided to jump there.
Yeah, that's the creativity you were talking about. But Matt Iannucci was up to the challenge with the hands. It's a good lob. Nice cover.
Sanjeev loved that forehand.
Yeah.
Let's do it again. That's a smart reset. I don't mind these guys going through the middle if they do it with the right tone, even though Roger and Sanjeev are going to drive those balls.
Yes.
I don't mind it because they haven't tested that out extensively. It looks like the way they've been trying to play Sanjeev and Roger has been mainly taking the ball to the outside. And I don't know that there's been enough to warrant staying away from the middle yet, especially, like I said, on a day like today where the drives just don't hurt you the same way.
Exactly. You know what, and that might explain the idea that they, if I'm not mistaken, and of course, like I said, math was not my major, but it looks as though they are ahead in this second set after losing the first one.
What was your major?
It was actually journalism and psychology, which is kind of surprising to people that even had a major. Just happy to get through school. Thank God my kids took after my wife, academically. If not physically, which is even better, really.
That is it. That's the high quality kind of side head, underhead that I was talking about. And he's looking to do it again. I love it.
Yeah, it's, you know, for a guy who's only been playing paddle for a little while, it looks like he's been hitting that shot all his life.
Yeah, I got to watch Roger in what I believe was maybe his second or third match, because he started this year, unless I'm mistaken.
Exactly.
And one of the first matches was against North Shore Country Club, and during the match you could see him getting progressively better. And shots like that, I mean, that's a shot you will see high-level players hit every chance they get.
Sure.
And he's starting to figure it out very clearly.
Actually, and you mentioned this point earlier, do you think one of the reasons why you're seeing a lot more aggressive style of play, and especially at the top levels now, is that you're seeing more converted tennis players that have had, well, a little bit more of a modern, good leave, modern tennis strokes. What I mean by that is in a semi-Western forehand, you know, a lot more pace. They can hit backhand drives. I mean, Mark Parsons is a, you know, I want to say not an exception. He's probably been doing that his whole career, but the point I'm trying to make is you're seeing a lot more of that now. Don't you think just because the modern tennis game has progressed the way it has, you're seeing more of that leak into paddle?
Yeah. Now, funny enough, I think if you polled a lot of the top-level players, they would tell you that Mark Parsons kind of fits the build of a very conservative player at this point in the game. I mean,
that's a good point.
No, I really.
No. I see what you mean.
He doesn't make a lot of sporadic moves at the net. He's extremely stable with his volleys, but he'll never make these aggressive, you know, poach cuts.
No.
Rarely, you know, goes in on blitzes. He doesn't love to get into knife fights. He does have a great backhand, and he'll pull the trigger on that, but. For the most part, if you watch him stylistically pitted up against the rest of the top players of the game, I think he's on the very conservative end of
That's a
things.
good point, Coach. As a matter of fact, maybe that's why he and Juan make such a good team, the chemistry there, where Juan's going to take a few more rips.
Yeah, you'll see in that matchup, almost all of the blitzes are run out of Juan's side of the court.
Yeah.
All right, that was a fault, so that's another drink. I'm wasted.
You're still doing a great job. I don't know if I told you recently with the commentary. And so is Cal. I told him that too. I'm going to say Cahal from now on because it's kind of a hybrid of Cal and Hal.
So the person that wins the CBGC drinking game, the Uber drivers.
Luckily, I live within walking distance.
Or skating.
There it is. You got that. We must have missed one or two games in there, or like I said, I lost count at some point.
That's all right.
Really good match, though.
Phenomenal match, actually.
A lot of good action there, and again, on full display, Roger Mills and Sanjeev Pillai's very apt tennis skills.
And waving at the crowd,
and
does he?
Izzo had a lot of opportunities there, and that'd be another match. I'd love to see them play it out in slightly warmer conditions and see if that gives a little more sustainability to Matt and Steve in the backcourt there.
No question. Good win for them, you know. And like I said, it's more of a experience thing for both Roger and Sanjeev, but heck of a match. And thank you all for tuning in. For Coach Will Komar, for Cal Noble. This is Sean Albrecht. Hey, we'll maybe get Matt in here next week if we can. Thanks for watching. We'll see you.